friends, let's take a look at Chainlink. Chainlink, buddy. Hey, buddy. Chainlink. So what are we looking at? What are we looking at? Hey, buddy. Well, come on, let me get in. Like the drawings on this thing preventing me from getting a nice clean zoom action on the go as I've been trying to get up here. Higher high over here on the RSI and a lower high here. This is what they're seeing across the markets currently. It's the same story. If you watch the other videos today, you'll see it. We've failed to push up above this zone, which means that we have a degree of hidden bearish divergence. Let's see how this plans out. We also have, the neckline concept coming in here, and a failed pattern, of course, is as good as a working one. So that means, of course, as well, we know there's a 60% failure rate with these things, and we haven't broken the neckline as yet. So I want to look towards certain key targets. Of course, remember 93k with regards to this bad boy, and in terms of staying above it. And of course, if we do get up towards the targets of sort of the 107k or something like that, then things are going well. Dropping back down below 100k is a round number thing that we're going down below as well, so that's something to be looking out for. We can see that there's a general malaise in the market today with a lot of red in the world. Looking forward to the Tezos video though. Hey, yeah, we are, of course we are. So yeah, there's that. But we've not done it quite yet. Anyway, everything's fully explained. The only thing that I really need to update in terms of the delta when it comes to this thing is the fact that we're now looking at hidden bearish divergence. Should we not see ourselves able to sort of, remain above the 93k area and that 236? Of course, at that point, you'd also say there was that hidden bearish divergence, but whether or not it would actually have any real follow through would come into play after that point. Otherwise, we could still just be simply continuing on with our inverted head and shoulders idea on the charts and the RSI, looking towards these key areas in terms of the pitchfork as well, in terms of upward side potential for support and resistance. Bearing in mind that if we do drop down below all of this, of course, we have other historical areas to look to, just jumping up towards like the 2-day time frame so you can fit it all on. Oh, it disappeared because I've not got it visible. Anyway, pardon me, if we drop down much below it, then we'd be back into this sort of territory down below that area, and we don't really want to see that happen, right? Just in terms of looking at it structurally speaking from our highs over here, because of course I did really just get rid of all those brush marks. Give me a second. Because at this point, then we have to acknowledge the fact that we're in a downward trend. Now, this wedge, of course, that we're in the grand scheme of things, could just continue on the way for just now. I'd rather see it kind of getting broken properly. Of course, that's the larger frame picture in terms of that wedge, and we have a smaller one which has the potential for a measured move that we've not quite captured yet. We also have an head and shoulders, and that's a story, as you know, from the chat. I mean, I don't need to go into any more detail than that. It's all been perfectly covered. Now, looking over here at the dollar pricing, you can see that, of course, we're in the exact same boat scenario here, except whereby of course, let's see here. Yep. It's all exactly the same with regards to the divergences and whatever, and that's the main key update for us, the takeaway with regards to this price action currently that we're in. Can we push past that yellow line there? This yellow line, can we do it or not? That's the key question. For more detail on all of this, you can absolutely watch yesterday's video and all of the previous videos where I've explained all of this, and all the previous videos. What we're doing here is we're waiting to play out from everything that we anticipated in terms of being the potential for the price action over the last week or two, really, anyway. So we're still just at that point where now we're at the precipice and we're asking, can we do it or can we not? Far be it from me to say where, will we or won't we, because that would be predictive and we're not about doing that on the channel. All I can really say is that we have, continued to remain above this key zone over here, and that's good to see happening. And until such times as we break out below this yellow box where we've got the 236 in there at 1033, we're doing okay. We have had a slight pullback from the 1170 area down there towards 1113, but we're actually okay with coping with this in terms of the swings in the market, but so long as we stay above this 1030 area. Otherwise, we could be looking down towards 10% movements towards the downside, or 20% movements, and whatever else, and highly tradable events. That's what you need to keep aware of so you can manage your risk accordingly. Indeed, if you were shorting this at this yellow line, then quite obviously you've made a good decision so far, when that was obvious and it really screaming at you in terms of like, I refuse to give people actual signals and tell people how to trade, but that was as obvious as you can get in terms of easy risk management zones. And of course, then you're already sat there in profit. I know this is just a small looking candle, but when you get the measuring stick out there, somewhere between 3%, perhaps up to 5% profit, depending on how you did that. Now, of course, that would be with the trend overall overall here, but in the face of where we have these potential measured moves, and we haven't done either of them really. We are above the 236, and we still have targets up above our head, such as $12.19, $13.69, and $15.60 in terms of realistic targets towards the long side. So you'd obviously need to manage your risk quite judiciously on that one as well, perhaps moving your stop into profit. I again refuse to tell people how to trade though, so go on, make your own way in life. And here we are here looking at the Ethereum pairing. Now of course this squiggles that I've got on the chart here say 1,000 words, of course they do, but I'll just say them in a few words, as few words as possible, so that we can get through this here for today. We're looking at the 236 and saying that we're above it. We're above that, which means we've got a valid Fibonacci. Now where we also are at is in fact of course up above the 382 over here, having come in for a 50% retrace and then move towards the top side. So it's of course of no surprise at all to you when you draw in the equal opposite Fibonacci retracement area that we're above the 236, and therefore you've got targets up above our heads, such as these three targets that I'm aiming at just now, where you have 0.032, 0.035, and 0.037 as three targets towards the top side. But of course what we're looking at here is having as the question, have we got the divergence showing up that we had on the other two pairings with regards to the dollar pairing being divergent versus this high over here, hidden bearish divergence that is. Of course that's premature to say so. We're waiting for that to actually resolve itself, so don't make moves purely off the back of that. Whereas we don't actually have that just here between, oh sugar, I take it back, we do. No we don't. No, we don't have that yet here on the Ethereum pairing, so that's good to see. So we don't have that. We're still in chop land. We haven't actually got a real trend on the go. As you can see, I mean, we've got this diminishing off here, the price action, with a really weak higher high, really weak one, but we've got one and it came past the 236. We're outside that zone. I'm actually happy enough to see this if it needs to retrace all the way back down to 25. Of course, that's a 20-odd% drop down in price. I really don't want to see that happen, something like 15% or whatever. We don't want to see that happen, but I could cope with it if it did have to, essentially, because at this point you'd have a low, a high, a higher low, and a higher high, and then a higher low again thereafter if we stay above, let's call it 26 to stay above, right? So that's our sort of break point. If you want to manage your risk around that levels, then you'd be reasonable enough to do so. But of course, really what we want to see is the price to stay above 288, 28, 828, 8288. And if we do that, then good stuff. Cool. Excellent. Moving on. That's going to do for Linkter today. I know that there's more things I could have talked about if I wanted to. For instance, median line of the Bollinger Band came down here, touched it. We're up here. Let's see us, getting in confluence here and moving up above that. With the potential for coming up here for a 50% retrace, perhaps even then over time as this expands out again, going towards a 618. Other things I could have talked about include the moving averages, which I've accidentally deleted off the charts. I'm not even going to bother with that. But, like I said, plenty of stuff to look to on your own chart, and I've taught you very well. And if you feel like there's stuff like that missing from this episode, then the only reason for it is because you're new to the channel, in which case, hit that subscribe button, come back for more. I'll be back again tomorrow with more technical analysis. If you want to know what's going on here, yesterday's episode with Bitcoin, definitely check it out. It's highly brilliant. And it took it's an hour-long episode, right, where I go into extreme detail about how to master the charts. And frankly, I don't have the energy to go on any further than I have done in today's technical analysis, which is actually more than enough, really, in order to make your trades off the back of. And I'm not going to add the moving averages back onto the chart for today, but I will be back at them again tomorrow, of course. So subscribe and you'll see them all when we come back tomorrow. My name's been Rocky Outcrop, so it's easy to share with your friends. YouTube.com/Rocky Outcrop, as easy as that. If you've got enough value out of these episodes where you want to send them some back the way, then by all means hit the join button. I'd absolutely appreciate it. And of course, I know that it's just a tip rather than anything else. But if you can't afford to do that, that's fine. Hit the subscribe button. That's cool. All good. Catch you next time. Thanks so much. I'll see you then.